If you look at this, it's so disheartening. I mean, so can something be done about this? I know democratically you can't stop people, but how can this tourism be regulated lest it kills the mountain and the mouths it feeds?
Absolutely, Kartikeya. So what we've seen over years is that rather than regulating tourism and in terms of looking at how this needs to be controlled in some way or the other, Himalayas has been plundered primarily to make life convenient for the visitors or for tourism. So economic activity called tourism in the Himalayas has taken precedence over the very existence of Himalayas. In fact, I've been on your channel several times in the last 6 months, more than a dozen times, primarily talking about post monsoon, the kind of havoc or the kind of landslides and cloudbursts and other climate events that we've actually seen in these vulnerable areas. So the same areas
Okay.
that is completely crowded right now is the area that actually was flooded too. So earlier it was disaster, and this is what the one that you're talking, what we're seeing on your screen right now, will lead to further disaster in coming years in the long term if we do not control it. So broadening of roads, largely what do we mean when tourism happens? We talk about broadening of roads. We're looking at construction in areas, in ridges, in mountainsides, which are unsustainable. We're also talking about the stress that this brings in terms of its water resources, in terms of its waste management, and so on and so forth. And we've seen that how to make life convenient or transportation from point A to point B, from Delhi to Manali or Delhi to Dehradun, quicker, swifter. We've actually chopped thousands and thousands of trees, which in the immediate forecast looks as if it's only about convenience, but in long term, it primarily means that we are actually fooling with the climate of Himalayas, one of the important climate shields that the entire country has. So plundering, blasting,
Okay.
tunneling, road widening, infrastructure
Okay.
is something which is damaging the hills.
Okay. Let me go to Pradeep Sangwan. Mr. Sangwan, uh, you know, ecotourism has also become a bane. If you recall, if you have been to Pangot, I'm sure you must have been to Pangot. In last 15, 20 years, Pangot from a small village has turned into a area where in every nook and corner you have a hotel. And you go down Pangot and you go to those villages, you have these, first of all, Oyo hotels, then you have those glamping hotels, then you have those eco-friendly cottages and tents. So you not only have them in areas which the outsiders can create a tourist infrastructure, but you also have it on the tehsil land, you also have it on the agricultural land, you also have it in deep inside the villages. So instead of lightening the footprint, you have allowed people to actually get into every nook and corner of the Himalayas.
Well, actually, there's nothing eco-friendly about this ecotourism which is there. I'll give you a very small example. We've seen Atal Tunnel came up in Manali, a few years back, and there are two particular villages that we've been working around, and it's Koksar and Shishu. And every day on the peak season, roughly around 12,000 vehicle enters into that particular village, and there's only 150 households. How do they cater that kind of a tourism influx? The agriculture community converting into ecotourism or tourism community, shifting so many things from small scale village to a large scale hotel industry without any waste management, without any consideration of carrying capacity, without any consideration that the garbage which is being generated there, its reverse supply chain is very difficult. So there is nothing eco-friendly about these ecotourism policies. At least it's on the white paper, but nothing on the ground. So it's very sad that we think very later when everything is kind of disturbed. Post COVID, we have seen that how tourism had decentralized and reached up to villages, which has never seen that kind of a footprint. But we need to plan or design policies specific to these holiday destinations, which is not there yet. Policies which are around tourism cannot be equal to each and every destination. That is for sure, and we have seen that. Another example that I'll give you is that we recently built a facility at Kedarnath top, which is the highest, motorable and non-motorable material recovery facility to collect waste, which we call material. It is the highest of our country. And why it took so many years to build that facility? The facility has not seen a simple machinery called baling machine, which can compress and reduce the transportation cost. Why can't we control waste at the foothill? Where are those policies? If there are policies, what is the implementation around it? There are so many track routes, not even a single track route in all the 13 Himalayan states, which can say that we have, tourism centers or, education centers at the foothill. There are biodiversity parks in our country. Not even a single biodiversity park can say that we control waste at the entry point.
Okay.
Only the policies around national parks, and there's only one forest guard sitting outside. So how can we, sort of control all these possible issues? There are policies out there, but there is hardly any implementation. So that is the sad part of ecotourism. And now the
Sir, in name
population.
of ecotourism, what has happened in Jim Corbett is completely. I mean to say, you can have a life-altering experience there if you enter the area. Let me go across to Dr. A.P. Dimri, professor from the School of Environmental Studies, JNU. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me. Thank you, Professor Dimri, for joining me. Your opening comments, sir.
We are debating these issues times and again. And let me add, you have only limited to Shimla, Mussoorie, and XYZ.
No,
I mean,
we have been doing, sir, just to put it on record since you have questioned, we have a special series called Loving the Ghats to Death. One, we have done series on the Western Ghats. Today, we had photographs, compelling videos from the Northern Himalayas. So that is why we have taken them as an example. But it does not mean that we have left the other parts.
Similar scene is seen in Ooty, Munnar, very Lonavala is just 60 kilometers from my house. Let me tell you, wise people who want to celebrate New Year, they are restricting to their hometowns, right? And I will only tell what is not known.
Okay.
1,000-meter to 2,000-meter elevation in the southern rim of the Himalaya, which is the Indian Himalayan range, is warming tremendously because I am a researcher. That's why I'm adding it.
Okay.
It's drying the atmosphere. So you have less moisture available for the purpose, and you have the more vegetation species are shifting lower elevations. And these all pollution or whatever, I will not go in these detail because they are known facts, are impacting the local biodiversity of the region tremendously. We are losing forest along this belt. There is an increase of cloudburst, disaster, landslide, Joshimath sinking we know, rainy Chamoli 2021 event we know. There are multiple events which has come. Let me come to two important points where government's role is also needed and individual citizens' civic role is also needed. Let me tell you this very factually thing that individuals are not having the civic sense in this kind of situations. They are deadlocks. They don't understand, as my previous speaker is, they throw away the materials, waste in these higher elevations, which is very difficult to clean. Let me tell you, I do research on snow and avalanche and all those things. Ladakh, if you go late to the 14,000 feet elevation of Somurari village, Karjok, you will not get the accommodation. It is so flooded. There are thousands of cars lying in a 14,000-meter elevation, so higher up. Forget about Mussoorie, which is 22 or something like that. What I want to add, there is a missing policy planning conjunctures, which we saw the last cloudburst, which is reported in Dharali. All the runoff regions are made by the locals as a hotel, and I have told this in many times. So until unless these two things are not controlled, one is the individual civic sense in our country and the policy and planning. These kind of events, maybe we will be talking next year also, and a year. Third thing, which is more important, is that because of the economic growth of individual, these cities or these micro cities or whatever you call it, Simla, they are thriving because the economic MRPs are not taken into account. They are selling their goods at any rate, which otherwise is not possible. Be it a Bisleri water bottle, be it as a Maggie, be it anything. And we kind of researcher, when we go for the non-monsoonal time and non-snow time, we find it's very, very difficult to do our field trip because we are held up in jam.
Okay.
We are held up for our experimentation. And third thing, at last, that until unless we don't have these kind of regulations coming into the existence, this situation will keep happening, disasters will keep happening, ecological imbalances will keep happening. Higher Himalayas is getting ghost village because people are moving, migrating, they are coming out, and these villages are taken over the so-called ecotourism. Let me tell you, there is nothing at all eco there.
Absolutely.